Chapter 361, 216, Great Love Immortal Master? Great Love Heretic Cultivator, _3. This is too shocking. Are you inherently strong and then infiltrated Shan University, or were you originally from Shan University and later recruited by the Divine Plant Cult, only becoming so strong with the resources provided by the Divine Plant Cult? Lin Zikin struggled to speak again. Josiah Y smiled and said, "Of course, I only became this strong after joining the Divine Plant Cult. After that," he continued, "the Divine Plant Cult can bring you evolutionary resources beyond your imagination. Once you join, you'll realize how foolish you were to resist joining us." While manipulating the plant roots to hollow out the soil below, Lin Zikin asked, "What kind of evolutionary resources specifically?" This time, Josiah Y did not answer. Instead, with a smirk like a cat playing with a mouse, he teased, "Lin, I know you're stalling for time. Give up, it's useless. All the fighters of high levels and above from the province have gone into the origin land to resist the beast horde. No matter how hard you try to stall for time, there's no one coming to save you." "I will save myself," Lin Zikin said indifferently. As soon as the words left his mouth, the soil beneath his body suddenly collapsed with a boom, forming a deep pit that seemed bottomless. And above the soil, Lin Zikin himself plummeted down, successfully escaping Josiah Y's oppressive biomagnetic field and vanishing from Josiah Y's sight. "Damn!" Josiah Y cursed loudly, feeling like an idiot. Immediately, he leaped down into the pit, chasing after the fleeing Lin Zikin. About half a minute went by. At a spot over 200 meters away from the deep pit. Suddenly, with a boom, a figure violently burst from the ground. It was Josiah Y. "You fucker! Did he fuse with the genes of a giant mutant rat? How can he dig so well?" Josiah Y cursed again. The ground where he stood was riddled with interconnected pits, making it impossible to figure out which direction Lin Zikin had run off to. After calming down a bit, Josiah Y called out nonchalantly to the large pit on the ground ahead, "Lin, I advise you to come out and surrender quickly. You wouldn't want anything happening to your parents living in the family district, right?" Underground. Lin Zikin's expression changed upon hearing Josiah Y's shouts. The thing he feared had finally happened. His family had become hostages. And the words of the vice-governor, Ye Yongsheng, were completely unreliable. All that talk about being able to ensure safety within Jiuzhou province was total bullshit. I should never have been so trusting. Thinking all this, Lin Zikin burst from the ground and landed several dozen meters away in front of Josiah Y. Seeing Lin Zikin obediently come out, Josiah Y smiled triumphantly, "Good, very sensible. Your parents will be safe." Lin Zikin asked, "May I go and say goodbye to my fiancé?" "Of course not." With that, Josiah Y flicked the thorny vine in his hand toward Lin Zikin, tightly wrapping around him. To prevent any chance of escape, Josiah Y allowed the sharp spikes on the vine to pierce Lin Zikin's body, locking his chi blood and rendering him truly immobile. At that moment, high in the sky, a serene female voice suddenly rang out, "Impressive! Managing to escape the pursuit of a rare-level creature." Upon hearing the voice, both of them almost simultaneously looked up in the direction from which it had come. Then, entering their view was a woman dressed in a Taoist robe, exuding an aura of otherworldly grace. "Pavilion Master!" Lin Zikin was surprised. Didn't the Pavilion Master head to Shuangru Bay? How could she appear here? Had she just come back from there? Or did she sense what was happening here all the way from Shuangru Bay, even though it was dozens of miles away? After all, the Pavilion Master's strength was unfathomable, and such a scenario was possible. Whatever the case, the appearance of the Pavilion Master now meant that he was saved. Vice-Governor Ye Yongsheng? To hell with Vice-Governor Ye Yongsheng. Pavilion Master Qi Qingmo is my true backer. Lin Zikin's thoughts raced, and he relaxed. On the other side, Josiah Y looked at Qi King Mo in the sky, noting how she was capable of flight control and had been hovering there for so long without him noticing. He grew a bit flustered and asked, "Who are you?" He knew every rare-level fighter in Nanjiang province and remembered their faces. But he had never seen the Qi King Mo in the sky before. The unknown always brings fear. "My name is not something any random ant is worthy of knowing," Qi King Mo said indifferently with a cold gaze. The next second, she extended her jade hand. She was watching closely, noticing Lin Zikin's subtle movements with the plant roots. She just watched Lin Zikin struggle. How capable! Then, killing those from the divine plant cult. Turning these people into essence blood, and making red pills. This is the great love immortal master? She looks more like a heretic cultivator. P.S. Holding out my bowl, asking for monthly passes and recommendations. Chapter 362, 217. Entering the origin land. Qi King Mo placed the freshly refined blood bath pill into his sleeve, then lifted his hand towards the ground where 6 corpses lay, making a slight grasping motion from a distance. The next second, the 6 corpses exploded with a loud bang, turning into a swirling mist of blood before rapidly condensing into several bright red pills. Lin Zikin watched this bloody scene unfold, feeling increasingly horrified. Killing people to make pills, was this truly the love immortal master? The records within the ruins, they must all have been glorified. The pavilion master's actions now, they simply did not correlate with great love whatsoever. High above, Qi King Mo remotely inhaled, collecting the 6 bloodbath pills hanging in the air into his sleeve. Then he gently floated down in front of Lin Zikin and said indifferently, "These 7 bloodbath pills were just refined, they still need further processing before they can be used. I'll give them to you later." "Thank you, Pavilion Master." Lin Zikin politely thanked him. To be honest, knowing how the bloodbath pills were made, he was somewhat reluctant to take them. If they were made from the flesh and blood of exotic beasts, it would have been better. Using human corpses directly for the process was somewhat unsettling for him. Qi King Mo looked up at the administration building ahead, his voice utterly devoid of emotion. "There are still quite a few people around here with the same aura as those 7 just now, I'll take care of them for you along the way." No sooner had he spoken than her figure flashed, instantly disappearing into the void. Lin Zikin almost knelt down as he watched her vanish. Lin has been drifting half of his life, lamenting not meeting a true leader. If mother does not discard, Lin wishes to acknowledge you as his godmother. Godmother above, your son bows to you. At this moment, Lin Zikin had already decided that Qi King Mo was his solid backing. Whether she was the love immortal master or a righteous heretic cultivator. In the future, he must adore her to the skies, clinging tightly to this mighty thigh. After calming his mind a bit, Lin Zikin didn't linger and soon turned towards the research institute to check on Shen Qinghan and the others. After a look, it seemed none of them were seriously hurt. They only felt a bit weak. They couldn't stand up for a while. "Lin Zi, why are you covered in dirt?" Seeing Lin Zikin dusty and disheveled, Shen Qinghan couldn't help but express her concern. Before Lin Zikin could reply, Lu Chuanwu next to him asked, "Zi Chen, was it the divine plant cult that attacked us?" "Yes, it was the traitors from the divine plant cult." Lin Zikin then said, "The administrative office's director Zhou, his real identity is the 8th elder of the divine plant cult, he planned this attack." That lecherous bald guy was actually a traitor from the divine plant cult. Lu Chuanwu was shocked. Song Yuan next door said, "That bald guy was never a good person, constantly coercing and enticing the female instructors at school to be involved with him. I'm not surprised at all that he's a traitor." She had a strong bias against Josiah Y because this middle-aged greasy bald man had sexually harassed her, causing her great annoyance and almost making her resign. "Zi Chen, what exactly happened?" Lu Chuanwu pressed. He couldn't imagine how Lin Zikin had safely returned from the hands of the 8th elder of the divine plant cult. "Here's what happened." Linziken narrated the recent events to everyone, describing how he escaped from the 8th elder of the divine plant cult. Then how he was threatened to come out and surrender. Finally, how the pavilion master Qi Qingmo swooped in to save the day, overwhelming and slaughtering mercilessly. The pavilion master is so formidable, Shen Qinghan said with admiration. Before this, her idol had been her master Yuan Dongji. But from this moment, her admiration shifted to Qi Qingmo. It wasn't that she was fickle, but Qi Qingmo was just too overwhelming. Yuan Dongji had fought the 9th elder of the divine plant cult and was completely suppressed the entire time, whereas Qi Qingmo had easily crushed an even stronger 8th elder. The gap in their strengths was simply too apparent. After briefly explaining the situation, Linziken didn't stay long in the research institute. He quickly left with Shen Qinghan to take her back to the dormitory to rest. When the two returned to the dormitory, Qi Qingmo was sitting on the bronze ancient coffin, quietly studying a pearl shell bracelet in her hand. Upon seeing Linziken's return, she offhandedly said, "I've taken care of all the enemies around here for you. If we encounter people with the same aura elsewhere, I will take care of them too." Hearing this, Linziken truly felt like kneeling. What does it mean to have a powerful backing? This was what it meant. Ye Yongsheng? Useless. Linziken internally lashed out at Vice-Governor Yat, utterly despising this completely unreliable official. Qi Qingmo, unaware of his thoughts, merely said indifferently, "Go rest for a while, and later on, transfer some Qi blood to me." "Sure, I got it." Linziken agreed without a second thought. Now, there wasn't much he could offer Qi Qingmo. The only thing he could give was his Qi blood. Yes, he would transfer as much as possible later on, determined to serve this formidable figure well. Thinking this, Linziken and Shen Qinghan quickly went into the bathroom for a quick hot shower, then went to the room for a nap to rest properly. "Linzi, I want to try sleeping naked to see if it's more comfortable than wearing pajamas." Shen Qinghan, in the midst of resting, suddenly opened her eyes, turned towards him and said. She remembered the scene this morning when she encountered Song Yuan coming out of the bathroom completely naked, then recalled Song Yuan previously suggesting that naked sleeping was very comfortable and worth trying, so she suddenly wanted to try it during this nap. Chapter 363, 217. Entering the Origin Land _2. If you want to try, go ahead. Linziken responded listlessly. At the moment, he was examining the cardboard box inside his storage space, curiously inspecting the seeds inside. Previously at the Research Institute, the reason why Shen Qinghan and the others were poisoned was exactly because these seeds had sprouted blood-red flowers that emitted poison. "I definitely will, but I want you to try it with me," Shen Qinghan said as she stood up from the bed, softly speaking while taking off her nightgown. After slipping off her nightgown in just a moment, she sat beside Linziken, completely naked, her voice carrying a bit of coquettishness. "Linzi, how about you sleep naked too?" "All right." Linziken brought his thoughts back from the storage space and, to satisfy Shen Qinghan's tiny request, took off his own nightwear to join her in sleeping naked. Seeing this, Shen Qinghan immediately laughed and hugged him. "Before, we used to sleep hugging with our nightwear on. Let's try sleeping by honestly embracing each other and see how it feels different." Linziken teased, "What difference could it make?" "Mostly, it's that the bodies are pressed too close, and the stimulation is too great. After a while, you won't be able to hold it in, and you'll wet the bed." "No way! You little dirty girl, where are your hands going? Are you trying to sleep? It's not like I've never touched it before. Why are you overreacting? Hey! If you don't let go now, don't blame me for giving you a taste of your own medicine. Bring it on, I fear nothing." All right, just don't start calling out 'Daddy, I was wrong' and begging for mercy later." "Ah, Daddy, I was wrong, stop it." Shen Qinghan couldn't even last 3 seconds before she was thoroughly tamed by Lin Zikan, squeezing her legs together and begging for mercy with her mouth full. In the blink of an eye, more than half an hour had passed. Shen Qinghan was still sound asleep in bed. Meanwhile, Lin Zikan had already gotten out of bed fully energized and dressed, leaving the room on tiptoes. "Are you well rested?" Qi Qingmo, who was still sitting on the bronze ancient coffin studying the bracelet, looked up at Lin Zikan and asked. Lin Zikan nodded, "Yeah, I'm well rested." "Then come over and give me a blood transfusion." As she spoke, Qi Qingmo laid down gently on the lid of the bronze ancient coffin, waiting for Lin Zikan to place his hand on her to start the blood transfusion. Lin Zikan didn't waste time and quickly walked to the side of the bronze ancient coffin, stopping to place his hand on Qi Qingmo's chest and began the qi blood transfer. Half an hour passed. An hour passed. 2 hours. The transfer of qi blood took a full 6 hours to complete. It was completely dark outside. Most of Lin Zikan's qi blood had been drained, turning his initial vitality into current listlessness, looking like a man drained dry by a woman. On the contrary, Qi Qingmo looked radiant, brimming with sudden vitality. "I'm going into hibernation now, we'll continue tomorrow morning." After Qi Qingmo finished speaking, she lay down inside the bronze ancient coffin and, with a thought, tightly sealed the lid, entering a rejuvenating hibernation state. Lin Zikan said nothing, just silently took out a high-level revitalization pill and swallowed it, speeding up the recovery of his qi blood. As for the more effective bloodbath pill, ever since he witnessed the scene of Qi Qingmo killing and making pills during the day, he wasn't able to stomach it for a while. At the same time, in Shanghai City, 20,000 meters underground. Within the underground palace, a 3-leafed clover masked figure was reporting to a 4-leafed clover masked figure. "Great Elder, all contacts with the 8th Elder's people have been lost. All lost contact." The 4-leafed clover masked figure, also the divine plant cult's Great Elder, was filled with astonishment. 3-leafed clover masked figure, yes, almost all at the same time. "We can't sense their presence through the gu tree, and it's unclear what exactly happened." The divine plant cult's Great Elder furrowed his brows slightly, pondering for a while. 3-leafed clover masked figure, should we send someone to investigate? The divine plant cult's Great Elder didn't answer immediately. After perhaps more than 10 seconds, he made the decision, "This matter is too strange, it might be a trap. We should just watch and wait, definitely do not investigate. In half a month, we will launch an attack on Shanghai City. If nothing unexpected happened, it must have been the 8th Elder who acted against Lin Zikan on his own and was then killed by those arranged by Ye Yongsheng to protect Lin Zikan." Thinking of this, the Great Elder couldn't help muttering to himself, "It's good that such a fool is dead, lest he ruin the plan to take over Shanghai City next." The next day, early morning, Lin Zikan got up early, placed his hand on Qi Qingmo's chest, and transferred her blood qi power. While absorbing his blood qi, Qi Qingmo asked in an even tone, "Which origin land entrance is the closest from here?" "The closest is entrance 36 of the origin land near the Nanjiang Province Military District headquarters," Lin Zikan replied. Qi Qingmo nodded, "Then, in 10 days, I will enter the origin land from there." Lin Zikan, recalling the underwater ruins mentioned in the video, asked, "By the way, Pavilion Master, when you went to Shuangra Bay yesterday, did you find those underwater ruins?" "No, I didn't find them." After saying this, Qi Qingmo continued, "However, I found traces of a teleportation array there, which proves that those underwater ruins indeed exist. Unfortunately, that teleportation array only left a trace so faint it's almost nothing, and it can't be used to trace the direction of teleportation. If only it had left more traces, I would have been able to follow the direction of teleportation to find the underwater ruins. That's a shame," Lin Zikan said with a look of regret. Shen Qinghan, who was listening by the side, also felt it was a pity. She was very keen on understanding those underwater ruins, always feeling they were related to her. At this moment, Qi King Mo said, transferring blood qi through a Taoist robe leads to unnecessary loss, just reach in directly with your hand and touch it. Lin Zikin's eyes widened in surprise upon hearing this, thinking he must have heard wrong. Reach his hand directly into her Taoist robe? What's wrong with this woman, so open-minded? Shouldn't the people from more ancient times be more conservative? Why is she so against the norm? Lin Zikin was baffled by this. Seeing that he still didn't reach in, Qi King Mo frowned slightly and urged, "Why are you still standing there, not moving?" Pavilion Master, there's a saying, men and women should not touch hands when giving or receiving things. Isn't this a bit inappropriate? Lin Zikin voiced his concerns. Qi King Mo seemed unconcerned, the flesh is nothing but a shell, only the spirit is eternal. What's inappropriate about touching a shell of no importance? This. Just reach in, don't be so hesitant like a little girl. Then I'm reaching in now. Seeing that Qi King Mo had put it that way, Lin Zikin no longer hesitated and reached his hand into the Taoist robe, transferring blood qi at a close range. Shen Qinghan wanted to say something upon seeing this, but after hesitating, she ultimately didn't speak up, and could only watch as Lin Zikin reached his hand inside. Time flew by. In the blink of an eye, 10 days had passed. That morning, after absorbing the blood qi power for the last time, Qi King Mo donned the pearl shell bracelet brimming with nature's spiritual energy and flew toward the direction where the Nanjiang Province Military District headquarters was located. If she wanted, she could instantly teleport to her destination with just a thought. But that would consume spiritual energy, which she was reluctant to spend. A dozen seconds later, Qi King Mo appeared in the sky above the Nanjiang Province Military District headquarters, looking down from above at everything below. Who goes there? Some soldiers below spotted her presence. Soon, a large number of mechanically modified humans flew out from the base, surrounding Qi King Mo who was hovering in mid-air. Qi King Mo ignored the mechanically modified humans around her, and sensing the entrance to the origin land, she vanished into thin air in front of everyone the next second, teleporting directly into the biological passage beneath the base. Where did she go? How did she suddenly disappear? Quick, check the surveillance. The mechanically modified humans hovering in the air were completely baffled. Elsewhere, Qi King Mo had already passed through the biological passage and entered the origin land that she had learned about from Lin Zikin. As she entered, she sensed a very strong. Sensing the origin force, she found it was not spiritual energy. Not nature's spiritual energy. What exactly was this energy body? Qi King Mo burst in directly. Arriving in the origin land. Sensing the origin force, she found it was not spiritual energy. Not nature's spiritual energy. What exactly was this energy body? P.S. Holding out my bowl, seeking monthly pass and recommendation tickets. Chapter 364, 218. Massacre in the origin land. After the shock, what followed was excitement. The energy bodies here are not weaker than spiritual energy, which means there's the possibility of replacing spiritual energy. If I can draw the energy bodies of this place into me and utilize them, then I can return to my peak. Qi King Mo's thoughts grew more and more exciting, and the expression on her face gradually became animated. But soon, she became cautious. The energy bodies of this world are not weaker than spiritual energy. This means that the living beings of this world are highly likely not weaker than the living beings of the era of spiritual qi. That means, I am not invincible here. I must be careful. Qi King Mo silently thought to herself. If it had been during her heyday, it would be another matter. But now, her strength has greatly diminished. She could only rely on the spiritual energy within the pearl shell bracelet to maintain peak burst for 3 days, and if she encountered a difficult enemy and couldn't end the battle quickly, it would be very dangerous. Who's there? How did you get in? Don't move. Several guards at the entrance of the origin land noticed the presence of Qi Qingmo, and immediately clenched their weapons, shouting loudly. Qi Qingmo ignored the guards. At the moment their voices sounded, she thought to rise into the sky and instantly vanished before their eyes. She vanished into thin air. Quick, report to the city lord. All city alert. A woman of unknown identity has just broken into the city. She's capable of flight control, with a biological level of at least rare level to start with. Elsewhere, Qi Qingmo had already flown thousands of miles, thoroughly leaving behind city number 36. She finally stopped above a vast forest, curiously observing everything below. Trunks full of blood vessels. Twisted stems and leaves. Alluring flowers and fruit. Strange and varied reptiles. Interesting, the flora and fauna of this world are truly peculiar. As Qi Qingmo surveyed the forest below, she couldn't help but voice her amazement. Suddenly, she raised her eyebrows, looking down at a spot directly below her. The next second, several thorn-covered vines shot up from the forest floor below, hurtling towards her. Facing this sudden attack, her heart remained undisturbed. With just a subtle intent, she reduced the incoming vines to nothingness. Boom! As the vines were pulverized, a loud whooshing sound came from the forest below. The forest moved. Countless skyscraping giant trees uprooted themselves and gathered together to form a kilometer tree dragon. As soon as the tree dragon took shape, it soared into the sky, spiraling high above Qi Qingmo's head. With the power of the sun, it completely shrouded her in shadow, plunging her into endless darkness. Above the head of the tree dragon, a man wearing a four-leaf clover mask spoke with great authority. Who goes there? Dare to intrude upon the divine plant cult's territory all by yourself? Don't you know the word death? While the man with the four-leaf clover mask was saying this, from the forest below, more masked figures soared into the sky, all hanging around the tree dragon and facing Qi Qingmo. Creating a situation of many against few. Facing more than a dozen float control experts, Qi Qingmo's heart did not waver, and soon she expressionlessly raised her jade hand, pointing it at all the masked people ahead. The leading four-leaf clover masked man suddenly changed his expression at this moment, acutely sensing an unprecedented danger. Run! He quickly yelled to alert the others. Then, without any hesitation, he burst forth with his chi blood, rapidly fleeing backward. Unfortunately, just as he made his move to escape, Qi Qingmo behind him gathered her fingers together and clenched her fist forcefully. The next second, the four-leaf clover masked man who had just tried to flee burst into a cloud of blood mist. The kilometer tree dragon he had summoned also collapsed and fell, crashing into the lush forest below. Right up until the moment of his death, he still couldn't understand why he, an epic-level expert, was crushed to death like an ant. The third elder is dead. Seeing the four-leaf clover masked man suddenly perish, the surrounding masked individuals were stunned, their faces disbelieving. Soon, these masked people showed signs of fear and turned to flee in panic. Yet before they could get 10 meters away, they were obliterated into blood mist by an invisible terrifying force, coalescing into bloodbath pills. Qi Qingmo waved her jade hand, collecting all the bloodbath pills into her sleeve. Then, with a thought, she released a massive wave of spiritual power, covering the entire forest and pinpointing every masked person within, lifting them all into the air from afar. Don't kill me! I was forced to join the divine plant cult. I have value. I can provide many secrets about the divine plant cult. One of the masked figures screamed, begging for mercy, unwilling to die. Qi Qingmo ignored these pleas, gently closing her jade hand, and the next instant, all the masked people burst into a cloud of blood, condensing into pills. Compassion for one's enemies is cruelty to oneself. Qi Qingmo knew this well, so she never showed mercy to her foes. This was an important factor in her survival until now. Why do these masked people not have special energy bodies within them? Are they not living beings of the origin land? Are they like me, coming from Earth through the biological channel? That must be it. With that thought, Qi Qingmo's figure flashed, vanishing from the forest sky in an instant. The next moment, she appeared high above a beast horde thousands of miles away. Chapter 365, 218, Massacre in Origin Land, _2. Those were exotic beasts whose names could not be called. They had 3 heads and 6 legs, with flesh wings on their backs, and their body height reached several dozen meters, appearing quite bizarre. They were moving toward the nearest human hub. They were about to assault the human hub. There's an earthling in the sky. Kill her. Tear her into pieces. In the midst of the beast horde, a 3-eyed giant who was in charge of commanding roared loudly. The moment the voice dropped, several exotic beasts with 3 heads and 6 limbs flapped their flesh wings and soared from the crowd, launching an attack on Qi Qingmo above. Qi Qingmo did not dodge or evade, she simply silently raised her jade hand, aiming at the entire beast horde below. The next second, the massive beast horde exploded with a thunderous noise, turning into a vast blood mist that spread all around, staining the entire sky red. Bathed in the blood mist, Qi Qingmo, with her stunning face, showed a hint of pleasure, feeling very content. This was the feeling. Bathing in fresh blood, it was as if she had been reborn. Soon, the blood mist in the sky started to rapidly compress. In just the blink of an eye, it condensed into several bright red blood bath pills. What a pity it's not the blood of pure blood humans, otherwise I could absorb all of it for my own use. Qi Qingmo expressed her regret. Upon finishing, she waved her jade hand and collected the floating blood bath pills into her sleeve. After securing the blood bath pills, Qi Qingmo slowly descended a bit, shifting her gaze to the blue crystals on the ground. The blue crystals on the ground had fallen out of the exotic beasts that had just exploded. They seemed to be something like beast cores. Qi Qingmo picked several blue crystals that were uniform in size but varied in depth of color, sucked them into her hands from mid-air, and examined them closely. These blue crystals all contained a dense, special energy. The darker their color, the more energy they contained. They're somewhat like spirit stones. No. They must be like spirit crystals of a higher purity. I wonder if they can be absorbed into the body through refining, just like spirit crystals. Thinking this, Qi Qingmo immediately released her qi blood, using the same method as refining spirit crystals, to refine the several blue crystals in her hand. Under the intense refinement of qi blood, the seemingly extremely hard blue crystals were instantly refined into wisps of blue mist, which were then all absorbed into Qi Qingmo's body. As the blue mist entered her body, Qi Qingmo immediately proceeded to the final step of refinement, attempting to fully integrate the absorbed blue mist into every spiritual pore in her body. Seconds later, Qi Qingmo frowned slightly, sighing with some disappointment. I knew it wouldn't be that easy. She had failed the integration. The energy of the blue mist, not weaker than nature's spiritual energy, simply couldn't integrate into her spiritual pores, not even a trace could enter. There must be a way, it just requires some time to find it. What needs to be done now is to collect as many of these blue crystals as possible for future experimentation. With enough trials, the method of integration will surely be found. Qi Qingmo muttered to herself. Then, with the thought, she collected all the blue crystals on the ground into her sleeve. Her figure then flashed, disappearing once more, going on to refine more beast hordes. Twisted Valley. Center. The Deputy City Lord of City No. 1, a 6-winged genetic integrator, suddenly burst into the sky from a dense forest, transforming into a gigantic bird that covered the sky and sun, frantically fleeing in a disheveled manner. Behind him, several tree dragons with bodies stretching several kilometers were pursuing him at high speed. He had walked into an ambush. As the Deputy City Lord of City No. 1, his original intent was to lead a team to eradicate a divine plant cult hub in the valley while also giving a field training to those 28 alien human-level geniuses. Unexpectedly, there turned out to be a traitor from the divine plant cult in the team, who backstabbed them at a critical moment. This directly led to the entire team being wiped out, leaving only him severely injured and struggling to escape. And then, he found himself in this embarrassing situation of being frantically chased. City Lord Qin, you can't escape. Today, not only you, but also those 28 alien human-level geniuses you brought must die. Unless you are willing to join the divine plant cult, consume a goo seed, only then might we spare your life. The followers of the divine plant cult chasing behind shouted loudly toward the deputy city lord of city number 1, who was fleeing ahead. Qin Chuan, as the deputy city lord of city number 1, paid no heed to the noise behind him. From beginning to end, he was focused on bursting his chi blood, constantly fleeing toward the exterior of the valley, attempting to safely lead those 28 alien human-level geniuses away from this place. More than 10 seconds later, the big bird that was Qin Chuan burst out of the valley, reaching its outer perimeter. Seeing that all 28 alien human-level geniuses were there, he didn't take a breath of relief, but instead spread his wings and swept up those 28 geniuses, rapidly taking them away from this place. These 28 alien human-level geniuses are the future backbone of humanity. They must never fall into the hands of the divine plant cult. They must all be safely evacuated. Even if it means sacrificing myself, I would not hesitate. Buzz. 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 A whooshing sound then rose. The kilometer tree dragons that were in hot pursuit suddenly sped up, and in the blink of an eye, they had moved in front of Qin Chuan, surrounding him from all sides. City Lord Qin, either die or swallow the goo seed and join the divine plant cult, choose for yourself, a person wearing a 4-leaf clover mask said to Qin Chuan with an indifferent tone. Faced with this dilemma, Qin Chuan did not hesitate at all. He immediately flapped his wings, dispersing the 28 geniuses around him, and yelled, "Run! The best is to escape. If you can't escape, kill yourself immediately, do not submit to the divine plant cult." After shouting these 3 sentences in a very short time, Qin Chuan sacrificed his essence blood, deepening his own mutation to gain even greater power, then ferociously attacked the surrounding tree dragons, buying time for the 28 alien human-level geniuses to escape. Below, as the 28 alien human-level geniuses hit the ground, they immediately scattered in different directions, trying to flee. But they had not run far when a large number of vines shot out and tightly entangled them, preventing any movement. The 28 alien human-level geniuses were all caught without exception. Above, while fiercely battling several tree dragons and constantly spitting blood, Qin Chuan, seeing that the alien human-level geniuses below were captured, immediately shouted at them. "Detonate your chi blood, don't hesitate, don't cling to life." If the geniuses detonated themselves, it would merely mean a loss of talent for humanity. But if the geniuses were controlled by the divine plant cult, it would be a catastrophic disaster for humanity. "No, I don't want to die. I choose to join the divine plant cult. I'll join too." Almost all the alien human-level geniuses, at that moment, shouted out loud, choosing to turn to the dark side. Or rather, they believed they were turning towards the light. They just wanted to live, believing that living was the greatest light. They were all under 30 years old. Hadn't yet experienced the pleasures of life, and they didn't want to die young. Upon hearing this, Qin Chuan immediately showed a furious expression. "A bunch of cowards! It's because of people like you that the divine plant cult continues to grow strong and bring endless disasters to Earth. Since you don't wish to detonate yourselves, allow me to help you." The moment these words fell, Qin Chuan fully unleashed his power, broke through the encirclement of a few tree dragons, and ferociously headed towards the 28 geniuses trapped by vines below. Just when all the geniuses were in despair. Just when Luoqiangxue was about to commit suicide. Over City number 36. A large group. Earthlings were shocked, asking who this mighty figure could be, having never seen him before. The forces from all directions in Origin Land were shocked. The Earth strongholds were also shocked. The people from the divine plant cult, the sect hierarch, the second elder and the third elder are all dead. Their stronghold has been completely annihilated. How did they know about the stronghold? Traitor. There must be a traitor among them. Sect hierarch, we can't wait any longer, inform the great elder to attack Shanghai City today. The forces from all directions in Origin Land were shocked. The Earth strongholds were also shocked. The people from the divine plant cult, the sect hierarch, the second elder and the third elder are all dead. Their stronghold has been completely annihilated. How did they know about the stronghold? P.S. There is one more chapter, around 2 o'clock. Chapter 366, 219. Qi King Mo severely damages the divine plant cult. Immediately occupy Shanghai City. Who was she? The moment they saw Qi King Mo, a question arose in the hearts of everyone present. Especially for Qin Chuan, the deputy city lord of number 1, his doubts were heavier than anyone else at the scene. He had memorized all the human powerhouses from the Origin Land, remembering each and every one of their faces. However, the Qi King Mo who suddenly appeared above the heads of several divine plant cult powerhouses felt extremely unfamiliar to him. Let's attack together! One of the divine plant cult powerhouses shouted loudly. The next moment, several divine plant cult powerhouses, all of high epic level, attacked at the same time from different directions towards Qi King Mo in the sky. They could vaguely sense how formidable Qi King Mo was, so they didn't dare to underestimate her during the attack. They went all out right from the start. To eliminate Qi King Mo with the strongest offensive. To avoid any unexpected events. Facing the simultaneous attacks of several epic-level divine plant cult powerhouses, there wasn't a flicker of emotion on Qi King Mo's face, still as serene as an ancient well. She simply raised her jade hand like always and lightly grasped at the divine plant cult powerhouses attacking her. In an instant. Boom! 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 The 4 divine plant cult powerhouses, all of high epic biological level, instantly blew apart, turning into a cloud of blood mist that dispersed into the air, completely perishing. With a thought, Qi King Mo condensed the Qi blood lingering in the air into bloodbath pills. Then with a wave of her jade hand, she collected all the elixirs into her sleeves. Immediately after, her figure flashed as she dashed toward the center of the twisted valley. She keenly sensed that there were still masked people from the divine plant cult there, and she intended to eradicate them completely. Meanwhile, Qin Chuan, the deputy city lord number 1, along with those 28 alien human-level geniuses, were still somewhat dazed and hadn't fully grasped what had just happened. It all felt so chaotic. And a trace of relief at having survived a calamity. Everyone had thought they were doomed, but then a mysterious woman suddenly appeared midway and instantly killed those 4 high epic level traitors of the divine plant cult in seconds, which seemed surreal. Deputy City Lord Qin, who is that mysterious female powerhouse? An alien human-level genius, who had regained his senses, asked. Qin Chuan shook his head, I don't know. This alien human-level genius was very surprised, Deputy City Lord Qin doesn't know. Do you think that powerful mysterious woman could actually be the unknown vice-governor? A short-haired, competent-looking alien human-level female genius speculated. Just who has 3 vice-governors. The one in charge of the Earth's administration is a woman named Xiao Yu. The one managing affairs on this side of the Origin Land is a man named Ye Yongsheng. The remaining vice-governor is very mysterious. Only known by the name Nangang Kanghai, with no other information available. Unknown whether male or female. Unknown how they look. Unknown what their responsibilities are. Just the name is known, nothing else. Based on these points, the alien human-level female genius speculated that Qi King Mo, who had suddenly appeared, was that mysterious vice-governor. Upon hearing her theory, everyone else also voiced their realization. You know, that's very possible. I think it must be her, otherwise I can't think of who else that female powerhouse could be. What was the name of that unknown vice-governor again? Nanggong Kanghai. That name sounds rather unisex, could be male or female, so looking at it this way, that female powerhouse is most likely the vice-governor. Everyone exchanged opinions and felt that the alien human-level female genius's guess was very likely correct. Including Qin Chuan, who also felt the guess was very likely. Just as everyone came to believe that Qi Qingmo was that mysterious vice-governor. Qi Qingmo, who had just left not long ago, suddenly appeared before everyone's eyes again. She hovered high in the air, her eyes seemingly able to penetrate everything in the world, staring directly at Luo Qingxu below. After confirming that Luo Qingxu was a special existence, Qi Qingmo immediately had a thought and levitated Luo Qingxu right up in front of her. Even though your biological level is only high level, the special energy contained within you is not weaker than those epic level origin land living beings I previously annihilated. Moreover, you are a pure-blood human, without a trace of alien race's bloodline in your body. Your blood might be useful to me, I will remember you, she said. Then, Qi Qingmo placed her hand on Luo Qingxu's Heaven's Gate, imprinting a mark inside. Following that, she spoke indifferently, when I need you, I will come to find you. At this moment, Qin Chuan suddenly flew up, asking very respectfully, Excuse me, are you Vice-Governor Nanggong? No. Qi Qingmo, without even glancing at him, replied emotionlessly. As soon as her words fell, with a thought, she sent Luo Qingxu back to the ground. Then, her figure flashed and she instantly vanished from the spot, disappearing as if she were a ghost. Leaving Qin Chuan completely bewildered. Not Nanggong governor? Then who was she? What on earth was going on? The more Qin Chuan thought about it, the more bewildered he became, completely unable to understand the situation. On the ground, Luo Qingxu was also bewildered, but more than anything, she felt lost. She had clearly felt Qi Qingmo imprint something inside her Heaven's Gate, but now she couldn't sense that thing at all. Moreover, what did it mean that her blood might be useful to that Taoist robe woman? What exactly did that Taoist robe woman intend to do? All these unknowns made her feel somewhat uneasy. Chapter 367, 219. Qi Qingmo severely damages the divine plant cult. Immediately occupy Shanghai City, _2. She didn't want to be a special existence. From childhood, her uniqueness never made her shine brightly. It only caused her to be viewed through a biased lens by those around her, ostracized by her peers. She had had enough of this special treatment. City number 36. The City Lord, Deputy City Lord, and a host of mighty ones were all looking towards the distance with grave expressions. In the sky several miles away from the city, there was a flock of birds shimmering with electric arcs, bringing a vast swath of clouds as they sped towards the city. They were thunderbird beasts. An exotic beast that feeds on lightning. Massive in size, they were dozens of meters long, the smallest being about 10 meters. Preferring to live in groups, they had a violent nature, exterminating all living beings they encountered on their path. Wherever they passed, there was lightning and thunder, leaving the ground scorched and blackened. Everyone, charge with me! Don't let these thunderbird beasts enter the city's perimeter. Slaughter them all, so other exotic beasts know the price of attacking our human city. The city lord of city number 36 shouted and immediately took to the sky, heading for the flock of thunderbirds. The deputy city lord, team leaders, and administrative personnel who had come from Earth to provide support all followed suit. Among them, Yuan Dongji was at the forefront, closely following the city lord, wielding myriad water blades and throwing herself fearlessly at the thunderbird beasts. Her son, her daughter, had all been buried in the beast tide of the origin land. She despised these exotic beasts from the origin land to the core. She wanted a massacre. She wanted to reduce them to dust. To offer a sacrifice to the spirits of her children in heaven. ZZZT. ZZZT ZZZT ZZZT. ZZZT. As she drew ever closer to the thunderbird flock, Yuan Dongji could clearly hear the sound of electricity emanating from within. She could also clearly see that on the bodies of each thunderbird beast, which were flying at high speeds, the electrical arcs were becoming more numerous and brighter. Very soon. With a boom, there was a loud explosion. A blinding white light erupted from within the thunderbird flock, shooting a terrifying column of electricity at the rapidly approaching group. The beam was extremely fast, and most people didn't have time to dodge, getting engulfed by the lightning and turning into charred figures falling from the sky. Yuan Dongji narrowly avoided it. Following the city lord and the others into the midst of the thunderbird flock, and began to frenziedly slaughter the low-defense thunderbird beasts. The thunderbird beasts had feeble bodies and once approached were like lambs to the slaughter, quickly being killed in disarray. Just when Yuan Dongji thought the battle was about to end, and she would return victorious. Suddenly, from above the flock of thunderbirds, a long dragon chant sounded from the dark clouds. The next moment, a kilometer-long thunder dragon, wrapped in electricity, burst through the clouds, circling high above everyone. It's a thunder dragon beast. Scatter! Everyone, quickly scatter! The thunder dragon beast has a potent attack, but it needs to gather strength to attack, and its direction of attack is slow to move. Don't crowd together and encroach on each other's dodging space, resulting in being caught all at once. Adopt a circling combat strategy. Upon seeing the kilometer-long thunder dragon in the sky, the city lord immediately shouted to the others, instructing them in combat. Upon hearing this, everyone scattered in haste, surrounding the thunder dragon in the sky. They then erupted with chi blood, attacking the thunder dragon from different directions with the most damaging strikes. In an instant, huge sounds exploded in the high sky. The combined might of several epic-level experts and dozens of rare-level fighters hit the thunder dragon simultaneously, creating sparks upon collision, illuminating the entire sky like fireworks. However, the display was only grand in appearances, the actual effect was dreadful to witness. The thunder dragon, which had just suddenly sustained a significant amount of attacks, now had an almost unscathed body surface, with only some of the outermost scales shattered, and no damage to its core. ZZZT. ZZZT ZZZT ZZZT. ZZZT. Along with the sound of sparking electricity. The next second, the thunder dragon's body radiated light, unleashing a terrifying current of electricity that spread out like a spider's web in all directions, instantly sweeping over everyone nearby with a devastating force. Seconds later, dozens of charred figures were falling rapidly from the sky, forced out of the battle. Apart from the city lord and a few other epic-level experts, the rest of the human fighters were struck down by the thunder dragon's discharge and completely lost their ability to fight. Yuan Dongji was among them. Her biological level was only rare order 3, placing her in the lower middle among these people. In the attack from the thunder dragon, she was struck unconscious by the electricity and was plummeting towards the ground at high speed. Attack its vital point. This thunder dragon evolved from a thunder snake. Attacking its vital point will inflict greater damage. Chu Sheng, Mr. Wu, you two are responsible for containing this thunder dragon. Akan, He Shizi, you two follow me to attack its vital point. The city lord spoke these words extremely fast. Then, without a second's delay, he immediately led two of the stronger deputy city lords swiftly towards the vital point of the thunder dragon. The remaining deputy city lord, along with an old man aged hundreds of years, charged toward the thunder dragon beast's head together, creating an opportunity for the other three to attack the thunder dragon beast's vulnerable spot. Boom! Boom boom boom! Boom! Powerful attacks of epic level kept pounding on the thunder dragon beast's vulnerable spot. In just a moment, The scales on the Thunder Dragon Beast's vulnerable spot began to crack and fall off, revealing the raw, fragile flesh underneath. In pain, the Thunder Dragon Beast roared skywards. Sizzle! Sizzle sizzle sizzle! Sizzle! Boom! Under the intense pain, the Thunder Dragon Beast once again unleashed a terrifying burst of electricity. The light shone in an instant, lighting up the entire sky. Facing this spreading, terrifying current, the four showed no trace of panic on their faces. Too slow. The Thunder Dragon's attacks were strong and the range was vast, but its attack speed was just too slow. As epic-level experts, all four were confident they could easily dodge. However, as the electric current spread before them and they were about to swiftly dodge, the Deputy City Lord called Akin suddenly summoned numerous bloody vines, tightly wrapping around the three trying to dodge the electric attack. All three turned toward this traitor with disbelief written on their faces, utterly unable to fathom that their colleague would turn out to be a traitor of the divine plant cult. Akin, you boom! The city lord hadn't finished speaking when along with the other two, he was completely engulfed by the spreading electricity, their bodies quickly charring and turning to carbon, as the spark of life rapidly drained away. Seconds later, the three, severely injured, plummeted down, losing any power to fight back. Not wasting a second, the Deputy City Lord called Akin immediately teleport to their side to finish them off. It's over. I'm going to die. Shanghai City is going to fall. Seeing the traitor teleport beside them to deliver the final blow, all three had faces ashen with defeat, brimming with reluctance. Just as the three thought they were about to perish right there, suddenly, the traitor in front of them poofed into a cloud of blood mist with a bang. All three were stunned, their eyes wide, not understanding what had just happened. Boom! 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 Soon, the same explosive noise sounded again. The Thunder Dragon Beast in the sky. The mere several dozen scattered Thunderbird beasts. More than a dozen of their peers inexplicably launched into the sky. All at the same moment, they suddenly exploded into clouds of crimson blood mist. Then, they rapidly dispersed and quickly condensed into bright red pills, all flying in one direction. The three followed the direction in which the red pills flew. What caught their eyes immediately was a breathtakingly beautiful woman in a Taoist robe. Who is she? What's the situation now? What exactly happened? All three were utterly perplexed, their minds flooded with countless questions. Elsewhere, in another vast forest, a colossal three-eyed giant was reporting to someone wearing a clover mask. Sect Hierarch, there's trouble. A mysterious woman in a Taoist robe with immense power has suddenly appeared in the origin land. The High Priest, the Left Protector, the Right Protector, the Second Elder, the Third Elder, the Fourth Elder, all of them have been slain by that woman in the Taoist robe. What did you say? The person in the clover mask, who was the sect hierarch of the divine plant cult, upon hearing the three-eyed giant's report, suddenly widened their eyes in shock. The High Priest is dead, both protectors are dead, 3 elders are gone, and including the 8th and 9th elders who previously perished on Earth, nearly a third of the cult's upper echelons were lost. There's a mole. There must be a mole within the cult. We can't wait any longer, notify the Great Elder immediately to commence the attack on Shanghai City. Upon finishing, the sect hierarch of the divine plant cult immediately took out a communication device, contacted the Great Elder on Earth, and said decisively, now, instantly, without delay. Launch the attack on Shanghai City. P.S. Here's my bowl, seeking monthly pass and recommendation tickets. Chapter 368, 220. Divine Tree descends. Fox-eared girl reappears. 20,000 meters deep beneath Shanghai City. Inside the underground palace, an elder with a clover mask, leaning on a cane, held a conch covered in runes in his hand. The conch was emitting a voice, Kuhi, immediately seize Shanghai City. This voice was filled with urgency. The clover-masked man, who was the divine plant cult's great elder, listened with a slight frown. He asked, "Sect Hierarch, has something happened in the origin land?" No sooner had he spoken than the conch relayed, "A mysterious and extremely powerful woman has suddenly appeared in the origin land, and the high priest, the left and right protectors, the second elder, the third elder, and the fourth elder have all been killed." "What?" The great elder's face showed shock. The sect hierarch said, "I suspect there is a traitor within our cult who is tipping off that mysterious woman, exposing our base in the origin land. You must now attack Shanghai City without delay, lest any changes arise. I will mobilize a large number of beasts to attack other human strongholds, to draw away the warriors from the 3 human strongholds beneath Shanghai City, assisting you in seizing Shanghai City and establishing an origin land base." The great elder replied, "I understand, sect hierarch." The sect hierarch declared, "Enough talk, quickly organize the beast horde to attack Shanghai City, I am now organizing an assault on other human strongholds." After this last sentence, the conversation between the two ended. The great elder stored the conch of sound transmission. He left the central underground palace. He arrived at a smaller underground palace closest to the surface. Then, he took out a scarlet seed and walked to an altar at the center of the underground palace, burying the seed in the soil at the heart of the altar. Next, he released his chi blood, condensing a drop of thick essence blood that fell onto the seed. The moment the seed touched the essence blood, it immediately sprouted roots and shoots at a speed visible to the naked eye. It sent out a massive network of roots digging deep into the altar. Sprouts appeared, growing rapidly until they were tall and strong. In less than half a minute, what had been an empty altar now featured a scarlet giant tree tens of meters high. "Blood, I need blood. This avatar shell is too weak. I need to absorb a great deal of fresh blood to develop and evolve this avatar into a kilometer-high tree. To take root in this land permanently. To control the land within a 10-mile radius." On the trunk of the scarlet giant tree, a fierce human face emerged, speaking in a thick voice. The great elder, looking at the face, said, "Wait a moment." As he spoke, he tapped the ground with his cane, producing a thud, thud, thud sound. Seconds later, a giant mutant rat over 10 meters in length burst through the soil and emerged. "Great Elder, what are your orders?" The Rat King lay on the ground, its voice respectful as it inquired. Its aura had grown stronger. Over the past years, it had received quite a few evolution resources from the Great Elder. Its biological level had evolved to high-level 4th order. The Great Elder said indifferently, "I need 1,000 giant mutant rats of at least ordinary 5th order." Upon hearing this, the Rat King glanced at the scarlet giant tree on the altar, aware of the fate awaiting those 1,000 of its kin. However, it didn't hesitate for a moment and immediately turned its head toward the row of holes on the side, emitting a sharp and lengthy squeak. Squeak! The moment the sound arose, a earthquake-like commotion suddenly emanated from the row of holes on the side. A moment later, a throng of giant mutant rats burst forth from the openings. In an instant, they filled the entire underground palace. Buzz! 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 The sharp sound of something cutting through the air rang out. In the blink of an eye, a myriad of spikes shot out from the scarlet giant tree, aiming for each and every giant mutant rat except the Rat King. Pft! 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 This was followed by a series of dull thuds as flesh was pierced by hard objects. All of the giant mutant rats in the underground palace were skewered by the vines, which greedily sucked at their flesh and blood. In just the blink of an eye, these giant mutant rats were all drained into mummified husks, their skins as thin as cicada wings and piled up on the ground. On the contrary, the scarlet giant tree, which was feasting on their flesh, was growing and expanding at a rapid pace. Tens of meters. 100 meters. Several hundred meters. A kilometer. The scarlet giant tree shot up over a kilometer in height, bursting forth from the center of Shanghai city and becoming a colossal umbrella that cast a scarlet shadow over the city center. In the dormitory, Lin Zikin sat cross-legged on the bed, focused on breaking through his second A-cup ointment. The A-cup ointment he was targeting was the brain aperture. The first A-cup ointment he had opened was the heart aperture, which enhanced his chi blood abilities. With the idea of balance in mind, this second A-cup ointment needed to be of a different type. The brain aperture, which could enhance his spirit abilities, was a good choice. After an unknown span of time, Lin Zikin slowly opened his eyes and let out a deep breath with a relieved smile on his face. He had successfully opened a brain aperture. His mental burst strength had increased by 10%. Next, it was time to open the body aperture. Smiling so happily, did you successfully open your brain aperture? Shen Qinghan, who was sitting cross-legged nearby, looked at Lin Zikin with smile and asked, one hand propping up her cheek. Seeing her smiling face, Lin Zikin guessed what had happened and asked, did you manage to open yours too? You guessed it. Shen Qinghan snapped her fingers. Then she lay back, resting her head on Lin Zikin's legs, and said smugly with a small face, Lin Zi, I managed to open my A-cup ointment more than 10 minutes before you did. I'm pretty amazing, right? That's incredibly amazing. Lin Zikin stroked Shen Qinghan's pretty face, looking down at her with a smile as he complimented her. The praised Shen Qinghan beamed as brightly as a flower. She hardly ever outdid Lin Zikin in anything, from childhood till now. Being the first to open her brain aperture before Lin Zikin filled her with a sense of accomplishment, as if she had defeated the ultimate boss in a game. Chapter 369, 220. Divine Tree descends. Fox-eared girl reappears, _2. Oh, I have a question for you. Shen Qinghan withdrew the smile on her lovely face, suddenly jumping to another topic. Lin Zikin played with her soft hair that hung down as he asked, what question? About that, how does it feel when you transfer chi blood to the pavilion master? Shen Qinghan looked into Lin Zikin's eyes with a hint of curiosity. Lin Zikin replied without hesitation, I really didn't pay attention to that, I didn't think too much about it while transferring chi blood to the pavilion master. Your hands were pressed so tightly, how could you not think much about it? You touched for so many days. Twice a day. 6 hours each time. You memorized the dimensions long ago. To put it bluntly, if you brought me a ball of yarn right now, I could tailor an underwear perfectly sized for Qi Qingmo. While that was the truth, considering Shen Qinghan's feelings, Lin Zikin could only tell a benign lie, saying he didn't know how it felt. Unfortunately, Shen Qinghan was only naively cute, not actually naive. After hearing Lin Zikin's response, she pouted slightly in dissatisfaction and accused, liar, after touching for so many days, you could probably figure out the dimensions, yet you say you don't know how it feels. Lin Zikin argued reasonably, when chi blood is released, my hands are hot. Touching it feels like touching a furnace, how could there be any real sensation? Really? Really? Then let me feel it. Shen Qinghan said this and reached her hand inside Lin Zikin's clothes, pressing it against his chest, and then with a thought, she released her chi blood. The next second, Shen Qinghan realized her hand indeed felt very warm. Her mind filled with the warm sensation. There really wasn't any real sensation to speak of. After confirming Lin Zikin hadn't lied, Shen Qinghan's beautiful eyes curved, and she cooed softly, it really does feel warm, I wrongly accused you. Since you wrongfully accused me, shouldn't there be some compensation? What compensation do you want then? It's up to you. Lin Zikin played with Shen Qinghan's small foot, leaving the choice of compensation up to her. Shen Qinghan thought for a moment, her gaze becoming increasingly enticing as she laughed, then I'll be your little serval puppy, let you experience what it's like to be a master. After saying that, she got up from Lin Zikin's lap, gently pushed Lin Zikin down onto the bed, lying flat, and began to expertly serve her childhood sweetheart and fiancé. Lin Zikin closed his eyes, quietly enjoying the naughty girl's compensation. Just at that moment, the ground suddenly trembled with a distinct vibration, accompanied by a series of boom 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 sounds. Several small objects placed on the table were shaken off, falling to the ground with a clear sound. An earthquake! Shen Qinghan sat up abruptly, a panicked look on her pretty face. Lin Zikin, much calmer than her, quickly sat up from the bed. Instinctively, he grabbed her hand and dashed toward the window, intending to jump out to escape the dormitory. But when they arrived at the window, instead of jumping out, they were stunned in place. Because they shockingly discovered that the earthquake underfoot was not the crustal movement they knew. Instead, a blood-red skyscraping giant tree was breaking through the soil at the city center, shooting up into the sky, causing the ground to shake. What's going on? Why would such a terrifying skyscraping giant tree suddenly burst out at the city center? Shen Qinghan stared blankly at the towering tree that soared to heights invisible to the naked eye, shrouding almost the entire city center in its shadow, her face filled with astonishment and disbelief. Lin Zikin didn't answer her question, his brow furrowed tightly, feeling uneasy. Upon seeing the mysterious skyscraping giant tree, the phrase divine plant cult immediately came to his mind. Is the divine plant cult attacking Shanghai City? What's the purpose? Just to cause destruction? Or is the target me? As soon as he thought of this, Lin Zikin's complexion subtly changed. However, soon his expression eased. If the divine plant cult made such a big move, it was definitely not to capture me. There must be other motives. No need to panic. While he was comforting himself and trying to stabilize his emotions, Shen Qinghan, on realizing that it might be the divine plant cult causing trouble, suddenly got flustered. She turned to look at Lin Zikin, gripping his hand tightly, extremely anxious. It's over, Lin Zi, that giant tree outside is definitely the doing of the divine plant cult. The heretics of the divine plant cult have attacked you several times and value you highly, they will definitely not let you go this time. The pavilion master entered the origin land, my master entered the origin land, many important figures have entered the origin land. Once the heretics of the divine plant cult make their move, no one will be able to save you. What should we do? She was terrified that Lin Zikin could be taken away by the heretics of the divine plant cult, unable to imagine a life without Lin Zikin by her side. Without Lin Zikin's companionship, she felt she definitely couldn't survive. Hearing her words, Lin Zikin uncharacteristically didn't respond to soothe her. Instead, his expression became extremely grave, his heart sinking. At this time, almost all of Earth's powerful beings had entered the origin land to fend off the beasts. Earth had become extraordinarily vulnerable. For the divine plant cult to target Earth now, it was hard not to suspect this as a premeditated attack. Even more terrifying upon reflection, the sudden outbreak of beasts in the origin land could possibly be the doing of the divine plant cult. Chapter 370, 220. Divine Tree descends. Fox-eared girl reappears, _3. The goal was to lure away all the strong Earthlings to facilitate their attack on Earth. At that moment, a ringtone echoed simultaneously. It was Lin Zikin's phone ringing. He took out his phone and saw it was a call from Zhang Wangzhen. Without thinking much, he answered immediately. Then, Zhang Wangzhen's voice, filled with worry, came through. Xiao Chen, there was a sudden earthquake just now. Are you and Han Han okay? Mom, Han Han and I are fine. Are you and Dad okay at home? Your father and I are fine. Uncle Shen and Aunt Meng are here too, everyone is okay. That's good. Lin Zikin sighed with relief. After speaking, he added, Mom, Han Han and I are heading home now, we'll be there soon. Be careful on the road. Yes, I will be, Mom. I'm hanging up now. After ending the call with Zhang Wangzhen, Lin Zikin didn't stay long in the dormitory, quickly grabbed Shen Qinghan, and jumped out the window, heading towards his residential area at top speed. In the face of great disaster, he just wanted to be with his family, to protect them. City Center. Atop the scarlet skyscraping giant trees. A vixen-eared girl stood at the very top, gazing in the direction of Shanghai University, a flirtatious smile on her lips as she muttered, "Lin Zikan, can you withstand my illusion technique this time?" Compared to her last appearance in the coastal forest, her aura was now much stronger. She had surpassed the ordinary stages, reaching the rare high-level stage. Moreover, she was at the highest rank of high-level stages, great perfection of the ninth order. Her chi blood and spirit were both at the great perfection of the ninth order. Confident in her strength, she believed she could take Lin Zikan back to the origin land. Before taking him, she planned to play a game of cat and mouse, letting Lin Zikan experience what being utterly powerless feels like. "Mommy, Mommy, woo." Beneath the scarlet skyscraping giant tree, a little girl covered in blood stood in front of a pile of ruins, crying and calling out for her mother. Her mother had been buried under the debris during the recent earthquake and was now unresponsive. The vixen-eared girl at the top of the scarlet giant tree, despite being kilometers away, heard the crying of the little girl below. She looked down following the sound. What she saw was a scene of complete devastation. Cries and wails were everywhere. The appearance of the skyscraping giant trees had almost destroyed the center of Shanghai City, causing tremendous casualties. How pitiful! The vixen-eared girl shook her head and then, with a thought, a purple array appeared under her feet, instantly teleporting her to the base of the scarlet giant tree, right beside the little girl. Seeing the little girl crying, the vixen-eared girl helped to extricate her mother. But the little girl's mother was already dead. The little girl continued sobbing loudly. In the eyes of the vixen-eared girl, the little girl's mother was not dead. As long as the divine sense wasn't extinguished, she wasn't dead. Extending a jade hand, she flicked a finger, shooting an elixir into the mouth of the little girl's mother. She escaped death in an instant. "Hurry and go." "Thank you, big sister." "Thank you, big sister." The vixen-eared girl watched the earthlings crying and shouting around her. With a thought, a giant array rose from the ground, and the next moment, all living beings within a kilometer vanished, transported away. The scarlet skyscraping giant tree spoke, "Why do you save earthlings?" The vixen-eared girl didn't answer but instead countered, "Why should I kill earthlings? If you invade Earth naturally you would kill earthlings. Don't misunderstand, I never planned to invade Earth, I just hitched a ride with your Sun Moon sacred land to Earth in search of my throne slave, that's all. Whether it's our Sun Moon sacred land or your Green Hills ancient mountain, both represent the origin land. Our Green Hills ancient mountain is just a neutral power, we have no ambitions. Don't misrepresent our stance. P.S. Begging bowl out, seeking monthly pass recommendation tickets.